Welcome to Her Fantasy Football Draft Edition. You can hear the three of us on Blog Talk Radio / Her Fantasy Football and on iTunes. Make sure to subscribe to us on herfantasyfootball.com so you know what we're up to this offseason. Also, you can chat with us on Twitter at Her Fantasy FB and on Facebook / Her Fantasy Football. I'm your host, Courtney Kirby.
And I'm Ashley Williams.
And I'm Brandon Lee. Hello.
Hello.
If you are listening, you don't know what's happening. But if you're watching, you're thinking, who's that guy?
There's a random man in the room.
No, he's not our fourth sister. He's not.
He's not our fourth sister.
No.
It's unfortunate. This is Corey Parson.
Woo!
Yay, he is our first on-camera interview live with all of us for the full show guest ever.
Yep. Thanks. Glad to be here, ladies. Chilling with the sisters of Her Fantasy Football, the Destiny's Child of fantasy football.
I like
He did say that on there on Sirius.
I did say that.
Yeah, he did, and I was into it because
You flatter us.
you know, you are not ready for this jelly. You are not ready.
That was a great song.
Great song. Also, bills. Pay my
Bill.
bills, my telephone bills. All good. But so, Corey
Technically,
Parson-
Destiny's Child originally had 4 members, Corey.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
Oh, that's
buddy.
That's true.
Destiny's
That's true.
Child. I'm not the fourth member of Destiny's Child, though. Pull that off. But it's like Destiny's Child -1.
All right.
Right. Okay.
Then they
Okay.
put somebody out the group at one point.
2 people.
Yeah, there was
Yeah,
4.
well, I guess eventually they ended up putting them all out the group. So
That's right. That's right. They did break up. Maybe we're more like the Judd sisters, if anybody listens to old school country, which I don't. But you know, it's
That's right.
possible.
It's like
Judd
2 of them.
sisters.
But there's the mom.
I can
But
dig
there's
it.
the mom. They all work together. It's a weird combo.
Yeah. You know, whatever. I do want to say, though, that Corey Parson is the producer on Roto Experts in the Morning on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio on Sirius 210 XM 87 Fantasy Football. Specifically, we know him as the producer of the Fantasy Funhouse, which all of us were on. We want to give a shout out to Mondo DeFino.
Good times.
Good times had by all.
Good times.
He also writes for Scout Fantasy at FF Toolbox, and you're also the co-host of The Takeover with our friend Chris Vaccaro from Greenwich Street Tavern, where we saw that terrible Bengals-Browns game when Ashley and Courtney were in New York City. Shout out to Chris Vaccaro, Greenwich Street
Yeah, the Greenwich Street Tavern, the whole crew. Right now we got the Takeover podcast, the NFL Free Agency edition, so you can head on over to Scout Fantasy and check that out. So, yeah, broke down free agency, talked about some moves that we like and how it affects the fantasy landscape for the upcoming season. So check it out.
Great.
Which my husband made Corey and I scallops this evening.
Awesome job.
He did a wonderful job. He's over there. Hi, honey. Yeah, that's how we rock it. But while we were talking about it, we were talking about how football's really 24/7 now, 365 a year, and so
There's no days off.
No days off.
No off season.
Hashtag
Does not
there is
expect.
no off season. But yes, and so you can find Corey at the Fantasy Exec.
Yes, EXEC.
That's right.
EXEC, the fantasy exec on Twitter. I don't tweet too much, but I'll keep you up to date with the news, and every now and then you can hit me up with some questions and stuff, and I'll hold court and try to get back to you. And we'll be picking that up more and more as we get closer to the 4th of July and the months of August before we really hit some hardcore fantasy football stuff.
Yeah, I like to see people put on pads. I get a little weird until I can see them actually
okay.
moving
I thought you were
about.
talking about like your sisters.
Oh
Yeah.
my! Oh, whoa! We're starting off blue over here.
Oh, I like
I
it.
wasn't talking about that though, but I didn't go. I mean, I'm talking about like football pants.
Uh-huh.
About feminine pants. That's not where I was trying to go.
A convenient double entendre, Corey.
Welcome to Her Fantasy Football.
Don't do that because now you're gonna turn the ladies against me. I'm not
Never.
like that.
No, it's
Never.
all good. It's all good. Now, this is also a very special show, though. Courtney, you want to tell everyone what we're doing?
No.
Well, I know it's the draft edition, and yet we're not going to talk about the NFL draft at all, which is very exciting. No. So every year, Ashley, Brandon, and I, we choose the teams that we cover throughout the next year. So we only cover 10 or 11 teams. So we're going to go division by division, talk about the teams that we'd had in 2014, and then draft our new teams, which we'll be picking them out of a hat, old school, fold up the paper style. And whichever team we do not pick, it goes into this bundle of joy at the end that we'll pick. The wild cards. So this is where we get excited. You guys might enjoy this, but we love this. This is when we either cry or like get wasted off of excitement. So this is going to be a good time. But before we start with going team by team, Corey, real fast, let's talk a little bit more about you. When did you start playing fantasy football?
I started playing fantasy football. I believe it was this not too well. It's been over a decade. I started playing in the 2003 season. I believe my very first draft pick was Randy Moss. So Randy Moss was the first guy I owned on the team. So that was the first year I played. I actually was a ghost owner for a couple of people that played. Then 2004, I jumped in, and my first season, I went to the championship. I lost in the championship of my main town league, my home league. You know, that league that everybody gets into, the one they really like. Haven't won or been back to the championship since, but it is what it is. I've won other championships, you know, just like the one you really want.
Really want.
It's hard to get there every year. It really is.
Yeah. It really is.
So you're kind of the guy behind the scenes for the most part on your show, but everyone loves when you chime in. So, you know, there's a balance there. Can you let us know a little bit about the nuance of that and how it helps kind of create that perfect radio show that you guys got going on?
It comes with, you know, a little bit of practice, time, and chemistry, getting to know your guys even off the air and stuff like that, kind of getting to the studio and get a feel of each other. So, you know, I try to, you know, get a cohesiveness, you know, myself and Nando, and, of course, the morning part of the show with Scott and Adam. We've been doing it for a while now. I've been knowing Nando for a very long time. Going into our 4th fantasy football season coming up this year. So the chemistry is definitely there. So I think we keep everybody laughing and also keep people winning their fantasy football championships. At least that's what we try to do.
That's our mission.
Yeah.
Nice. It's a good time.
We don't want you to lose. Like, we don't come on here to talk this for you to lose.
Really? Well, I do if you're in my league.
Yeah. Actually, there is an asterisk.
Yeah.
So we're kind of still new to this business. So how does radio and podcasting differ when it comes to content?
No, what I'm noticing, a lot of the content is the same, especially when it comes to fantasy. We may have a little bit more, you know, on the Sirius XM side, have a little bit more integrated segments that come along with marketing and big corporations and mainstream media and stuff like that. When you're on the podcast scene, you can kind of do what you want to do. It's more free-flowing. You can drink IPAs, you know what I mean, and enjoy yourself. You can sit up here and get hammered and talk football all night. If you live on the radio, then I may have to come live with, you know, y'all.
I do have a futon.
I bring my kids, too.
Yeah.
I bring my 2 kids. If I come move in with you, I got to bring my kids. And my son is 13. He eats a lot of cereal. So...
Hey.
Kids do eat a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it is so true.
Yes. Growing
okay,
board,
so you enjoy doing podcasting?
Yeah, it's cool. I have
drink,
fun with it.
You know.
It's more free flowing. It's more loose, and I get to, you know, kind of have my own personal stamp on it.
Love it. Ashley, what's your next question?
So we hear you're a hardcore Dallas Cowboys fan. How in the world did that happen, Corey?
It's kind of funny.
America's team, yada yada yada.
As he wears a Harlem sweatshirt, which I love.
Yeah.
My pops was grew up he used to run track, and he was a big fan of Bullet Bob Hayes. So when Bob Hayes came to the NFL, he was like whatever team Bob Hayes plays for is going to be his team. Bob Hayes, you know, member of the Dallas Cowboys, and that's kind of where it all started with him passing it down. But you know, I fell in love with them. The catch. The NFC Championship game with the Mike Clark caught the pass in the back of the end zone. Could have been no more than 3 or 4 years old, and I cried my eyes out, and I've loved the Dallas Cowboys ever since.
All right, that's legit.
It made me cry many times, though. I've cried recently about the Dallas Cowboys, which is embarrassing.
No, listen, I wish they had gone just a little farther in the playoffs.
I didn't cry this year.
We thought they'd maybe make it to the Super Bowl.
I had them at the Super Bowl. I had them at the Super Bowl. All right, so if you could play in the NFL, what position would you be, Corey?
Oh, man, that'd be tough. I really wouldn't want to play in the NFL. I like, you know, having my
Your brain intact.
No, let me. I give a lot of credit to those guys. I would want to be a quarterback. Who doesn't want to be a quarterback? You know what I mean? Who doesn't want to be the quarterback, the leader in the huddle, the guy with all the ladies? You know what I mean? The best friend of the coach, first guy on the field, last guy off the field. Definitely, and the biggest contract. So
That's
yeah,
true.
I would strive to be a quarterback. I'm type A personality, so quarterback is perfect for me.
That is perfect for you.
You're actually the first person we've asked that said quarterback.
Huh?
So you're the first person we've asked that's actually said quarterback.
Really? What did everybody else say?
Both Brandon and Ashley are defensive players.
Really? They like to dish punishment out.
Right.
I
No,
like kickers.
Okay.
I want to be a kicker.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody's got to touch me. I just want to kick
Yeah.
the ball. That's all I want.
Kicker.
Who doesn't want to be Goskowski? Come on.
No, that
A
guy's
lot of people.
Vinatieri,
Yeah.
I want to be him. That's all.
Don't you always think of Ace Ventura with kickers, though?
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
I
Totally.
can't help it. I just think of the creepy lady with the creepy football cookies. You know?
It's good.
It's a great
I like
movie.
it.
I think
Well,
it's a crime game.
Corey, make sure you guys hit him up at the Fantasy Exact. So thank you for joining us again. Let's get into these divisions. You guys, we're going to start with the AFC East. Super Bowl champs, the New England Patriots.
Must we?
Yeah, we must. We must.
Just kidding. Just kidding. We'll start with the good ones.
You know, I am most looking forward this year to see how that running game comes into play. LeGarrette Blount just came out that he's going to be suspended for the first game, blah, blah, blah. But Vereen's gone. He was my man. Ridley's gone. Nobody liked him anyways. But it's going to be interesting. I'm just there's so many weapons on that team. So many weapons. I'm sure LeGarrette Blount will be able to do a great job. I'm not drafting him. I don't know about you guys. Rob Gronkowski, he is going to have his best season yet. What do you guys think?
Oh,
What do you
bold
think?
statement for the old guy.
And even
Listen,
if
the
he
only tight end
doesn't,
left.
exactly, even if he doesn't, you know it's going to be better than all the other tight ends in the league. So there's really no
Wait.
harm in saying that.
Gronkowski or Goskowski?
Gronkowski, excuse me, Rob Gronkowski. Yeah. I mean, he can do it.
Ashley's
I
still
think he
stuck
can.
on Goskowski. She got excited.
I know. As I just hearing Goskowski, I was like, oh, bold statement. The old guy with the leg. All right.
Bold statement talking about the kicker.
All right. He's got his best year yet. I like
Let's
it.
talk about the kickers in the roundup.
Oh, it's so good. And you know, I'm interested to see how that defense comes out this next year. They lost some good players. I mean,
a whole different ballpark for
it's
them
going to
this
be a
year.
whole different ballpark. Exactly. I think Brady's going to have to really step it up. He's going to be on the field a lot more this year. So go Brady. I'm drafting him. Old and steady.
All right, well, the Bills. I have 5 points. Number 1 is just straight up sexy Rexy.
Love them. This is the team everybody wants, by the way, Corey. We are all
Everybody wants the
vying for the
Bills.
Bills. That's what we want.
Everyone wants the Bills.
Wow.
Can you
see
believe it?
why. I can
I
see a
know.
lot of excitement around Buffalo Bills this year. My guess is they'll open up Thursday night versus New England, and they'll show off their new team as they go up to Foxborough, try to get the W.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And that's Thursday night.
I think
That's
that's
the opening
cool.
Thursday night, New England and Buffalo. Rex
Pretty
Ryan, LaShawn McCoy, the whole thing. The
That's going
Patriots
to be
get their ring.
intense.
I can see that. I can get down with that.
Absolutely.
I think that the Bills I think that they're competing with the Jets for the best free agency for sure. And I love that they're both in the Patriots division. I think it's actually maybe going to make it slightly competitive. LaShawn McCoy with a chip on his shoulder and a Rex Ryan offense is everything that I need to hear in 2015. I'm all about it. I think I'm really low on Sammy Watkins, and I think I might go lower.
Ooh.
I'm not into him this year, especially with now his surgery. I got a lot of question marks on that one. And then
Sammy Watkins. How
I know that he's your kid's favorite. Yeah. Her kids with the you know about this?
No,
The
this is
touchdown
new.
dance?
No, they haven't Watkins touchdown.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Corey, go for it.
and now they have the Sammy Watkins jerseys too. So and they wear the jerseys instead of our hometown Broncos or my husband's team, the Chiefs. They wear the Sammy Watkins jerseys and they do the little dance as they're doing Sammy Watkins every time.
That's cool.
And they could be in the other room if Sammy Watkins' name is said on the Red Zone. They will be in that room and doing the dance before they even know what happened. So it's amazing. They're obsessed. I'm obsessed with it too.
They are officially fantasy football kids.
It's there already.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
they're
God.
original.
Big time.
You said what movie is it from?
Coming to America.
Can you
Coming to
imagine?
America.
I'm quoting stuff from Coming to America, and now we have 4 and 2 years old, 2-year-olds quoting stuff. Coming to, it might be the most
Classic.
quoted movie ever.
Yeah, I agree.
It's
Sexual
cinematic
chocolate,
gold.
Everybody.
Sexual
Absolutely.
chocolate. Yes.
Cinematic gold.
His mama named him Clay. I'm gonna call him Clay. They just keep coming from Coming to America.
Right? All night long. Also, you know what? The Matt Castle, EJ Manuel situation is the only thing holding me back from the Bills being my number one. I wish I had them again next year kind of enthusiasm.
It's dicey.
Dicey.
That's it. Dolphins. So the wide receiver position is still something to be leery of with this team, in my opinion. There was not a single Miami wide receiver in the top 30, which means you have no star player and basically just some wide receiver 2, possibly wide receiver 3 options at best from the Dolphins. Interestingly enough, though, Ryan Tannehill only scored 1 point less than Tom Brady last year in fantasy. Just one.
Tom Brady's first 5 games were
Just 1 point. But he was the 9th highest scoring quarterback in 2014, which I think is a little shocking for everybody, as Ryan Tannehill is on a name that is mentioned a whole lot. And I think he's going to have an even better year this year. I think he's kind of finding his groove, so I'm into Ryan Tannehill. And Lamar Miller finally lived up to his potential this year. He was the 9th highest scoring running back, and he actually stayed healthy for the season. You know, he's a name that most people forget about, probably because he's been fairly useless the seasons prior to this, but you might be able to get some good value for him. And Charles Clay is gone. Good riddance. They paid way too much for Charles Clay, and he was not even that productive last year. So
I'm gonna name him Clay. I'm gonna call him Clay. There you
right.
I'm going to call him Clay.
That's right.
There it is again. You should have made this a drinking game. For every Coming to America quote, you take a shot.
Yeah, right?
Next show. No.
Oh, man.
The
Well, I got
Jets.
the New York Jets, and I think they will be better than 4-2, and will actually
4-12.
have fantasy relevance. 4-12, 4-2. That's
all.
cute.
That's how many
They
games
would.
I felt they
Yeah.
played.
It's like they
Yeah,
opted
right?
out the rest of the season. We just didn't know it. Yeah.
But they might have fantasy relevance, whereas last year the write-ups were very short, as we talked about. That's the only benefit of having teams with no one on them. My number 2 thing is getting Brandon Marshall for a 5th-round pick was the steal of, I don't know, ever. I can't believe that to this day. It's perfect. And why is it perfect? Because of Eric Decker. I have been on the Eric Decker train since day one, and now he will have serious fantasy value now that he has Brandon Marshall. In Week 17, he caught 10 passes for 221 yards and a touchdown. He ended the season with just under 1,000 yards. He had 1,000 yards plus the 2 seasons prior to that and double-digit touchdowns. And this year, he only had Geno Smith and Michael Vick, a quarterback quagmire, and he still almost got there. So I'm all in for next year, especially if they figure out the quarterback situation.
Yeah. It's like that's gotta be
Also, Todd Bowles will be great, even though, I miss Sexy Rexy, but I think this is a great move for them.
I like
Love
it. Is it drawing time?
Let's draft it.
Right.
All right.
All right.
Who's first? Who's being drawn
I think
for?
we should go alphabetical, ABC. Or,
Yeah,
no,
maybe.
let's go opposite alphabetical. Courtney, you get to be first. How's
That's
that?
right. All right. Bills.
Courtney, Brandon, Ashley.
All right. Courtney goes first.
Courtney's first.
First.
What you got?
Courtney, you will be talking about the Miami Dolphins. Is one of the teams that you have. I tell you what. Talk about the situation last year. I like Jarvis Landry as a possible
I do
wide receiver
Me
too.
too.
This upcoming season, think he can be a monster in PPR league. So you have the Miami Dolphins.
Here, I'll put them over
All right,
here and put
okay,
them in
there you go.
piles so we can remember who they got who. And now Ashley, or me. Who do I
Okay.
get?
Brandon.
All right, here we go.
Or the Jets. I want both of them.
You have the reigning Super Bowl champion, New England Patriots.
Ooh.
I tell you what's going to be interesting, what we're going to be talking about, ladies, a whole lot during the next couple upcoming months. People get back into fantasy football. Rob Gronkowski in a PPR. Round 1, pick 2. Yes or no?
Ooh.
I'm not mad.
I
I'm
say
not
it,
mad with that.
but
I mean, yeah.
round 1, pick 2, PPR. Second pick overall.
overall. Number
Is
two.
it just because is it because he's got kittens all over him now? Is that why, Corey?
I think position scarcity. He's the only true legit tight end, and when he plays 16 games, he's a stud.
Yep. And you know
Stud.
what? I could use a Gronking to remember.
Couldn't we all?
That's all
Couldn't we
I'm
all?
saying.
You're gonna have a whole season to use that reference, Brandon.
Yeah, there is.
All right, who's next up, ladies?
Ashley.
Hey, come on, Bills, baby, Bills, Bills.
Actually, you have the Buffalo Bills.
Oh!
Their new toy in the backfield, LaShawn McCoy, and I agree. The Sammy Watkins may be in trouble this year. That quarterback situation is pitiful.
Not into it.
I am pumped.
All right.
So that's
The Jets are in the wild card.
Jets
and
are in the wild card.
I just put them right here.
All right, ladies. AFC North, Pittsburgh Steelers.
So I'm going to start off with the person Brandon hates the most in the NFL. Mr. Ben Roethlisberger.
I don't hate him the most. He just means this to me.
Second most? Close. It's up there.
Think of
It's up
everybody's offenses
there.
and
Of the day. But he deserves to be taken high in the draft when it comes to quarterbacks. You may not like him, but he is sturdy, he is stable, he's got incredible weapons in Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell, and he was the 5th highest scoring quarterback last year. That is higher than Breeze, that is higher than Brady, and his weapons haven't changed. Ben Roethlisberger is a legitimate option for a quarterback. Le'Veon Bell should be, in my opinion, the first pick of the draft. Love Le'Veon Bell.
No one's going to argue against it legitimately. I mean,
Some might say McCoy. Some may still go DeMarco Murray. Some may even be crazy like Courtney and be going AP all day long.
ODB.
ODB. I like ODB too. I like the wide receiver option. But I'm saying I love Le'Veon Bell. He's going to be great again this year, even whether he's suspended or not. Stay away from their defense. They basically are rebuilding their defense. It's going to look nothing like it was last year, and losing LeBeau is huge. And Antonio Brown, he's a top 3 pick overall in the draft. He is awesome. He's a top wide receiver last year. That's not going to change. He's amazing. Go Steelers. I want him back.
all right.
Yeah.
I like it. Cincinnati Bengals. You know, there's a lot of skilled players on this team that makes it kind of hard to know who to start when. But I will start with Jeremy Hill, Mr. Sophomore. I love him. He's competing with Giovanni Bernard, which kind of is tough, but 50% of their plays is rushing, so you can't hate on that too much. I'm with Jeremy Hill again this year. Marvin Jones is back, healthy. We'll be interested to see how he gets put back into the play calls. He has 712 yards and 10 touchdowns in 2013. And he's not just competing with Mr. AJ, Mr. Sanu. They got Denarius Moore. What?
That's not a competition.
What? 115 yards,
bad
0
play.
touchdowns last year. I'm confused. They think he has the speed. I think that's silly. And although I do love my Raiders, so hopefully Moore has a 200-yard season this year. Don't draft him. But Marvin Jones, Marvin Jones might step up and be a surprise, a sleeper of such. So I'm into the Jones, and I love the Bengals defense.
You know what? I want to credit Denarius Moore. I think he's one of the reasons I decided to go into being a fantasy analyst, because for years I would hear that Denarius Moore was the guy, the sleeper, the guy to get, and I was like, why is anyone saying this? He is like, listen, he's a professional athlete, and I don't want to disrespect his talent in that level, of course, but he's not a fantasy option. And people would always, he was the sleeper du jour for years, right?
No, he sucks.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
Real bad.
Matter of factly,
Disrespect him.
he's
No, I'm saying I don't know.
I love
I don't know
it.
his parents or his people or anything like that.
Right, I'm sure they're nice.
Yeah, I'm sure they're nice, and I'm sure he's a nice young man. But for what we do, he sucks.
Yeah.
Sucks. Sucks. Okay, so who do you think is going to be more into the offense, Sanu or Jones?
Sanu.
Sanu.
That's my wishful
Jones.
thinking, though. We have to see Jones. I have to see him back from injury. Once again, I'm really into seeing the guys on the field. Otherwise, I just don't get a good sense.
I need to see them with some chemistry, because Sanu was hot, and then all of a sudden Green came back and completely threw off the entire synergy of that team, and they need to work that out in this offseason where they're productive on all cylinders on both sides.
Agreed.
All right, well, we're going to need some miracles out of Mr. Andy Dalton then in 2015, huh? Lots of people to throw to.
I've still got ginger fever. I like it.
I still,
Ashley
Oh,
years long.
speaking
now.
of-
Oh yeah,
Okay.
she's all in.
I love redheads.
What's hot? The Cleveland Browns.
Oh yeah, smoking hot.
Yep.
Actually, you guys, I'm so sad. I am going to be seemingly worthless for half of the show because all of my write-ups are only in the NFC. I actually realized my worst teams were all AFC teams, and the only good ones for this year upcoming were the Bills and the Jets, but that's because they completely remade themselves. So as far as last year, I had nothing to say. But the Browns did not remake themselves. In fact, they did almost nothing in the offseason so far, other than things that make no sense. So let's start there.
They're staying with the Browns theme, though. That's what they do.
How about them changing their logo to a different color orange helmet?
Well, there's priorities in the offseason, Brian.
You know, they need some
Right.
change. They need some change.
Yeah.
You know some marketing person got paid like $1 million to do that, right?
Right.
I need
Yeah.
to
For
be
them.
that guy.
Good
I
for
want to be
them.
that guy too. That's the guy I am in my heart.
I'd rather be that guy than the quarterback coach.
It's like, I want to go more from a sunset orange to a burnt sienna. How do we feel about
Yeah.
that?
That ginger fever is right.
Yeah. Let's get it.
So Johnny Manziel, listen, he had a terrible season, but and we were the only podcast in the world that refused to talk about him all in the
That's a
preseason.
good job.
We thought that he stunk. We were never into him. But I do
Never.
have to say, it's gone way too far the other way.
The hate?
The hate has gone way too far. Now, I would never draft him on my fantasy league, but to say that his career is completely over after one bad rookie season is way over the top for me. And I don't want to be a sympathizer, or an enabler, which is part of the Johnny
The
Manziel problem.
he's
Yeah.
entitled to a
But
little bit of bread with him.
I feel like it's gone a little crazy town. So if he can get it together and put some effort in, I feel a little bad now. It's gotten just too insane for me. So I just wanted to say that.
He's got a case of the RG3s. He's unwilling to put the effort in. He's unwilling to do the work. If he can change
Yeah,
that
but
around, we
RG3
got
had
potential.
3 years of that.
Yeah,
Johnny Manziel's had 1.
true.
If he has a 2 years, then I'm done. I don't
They
even
should have
give him-
never given him a Snickers commercial until he was a starter. It was just like
that. Yeah.
that,
Everyone
you
just
know,
assumed he would start.
set the
I
tone.
love too that their coach from day one was like, no, Brian Hoyer is our starter. No, Brian Hoyer is our starter. And no one listened. I was like, what does this guy have to say? Makes no sense.
They're hoping for the Tim Tebow effect.
Anyway, so I will be very surprised if Josh McCown minus Mark Trestman is the answer. The only piece of fantasy intrigue here is whether Isaiah Crowell or Terrence West wins the position battle, or if they just enter that dreaded running back by committee situation that we all know will happen because no one else plays on the team.
Yeah.
Brian Hartline is, though, on the team. So, as you said, Ashley, they didn't have any top 30
No.
wide receivers, and he wasn't the top wide receiver for the Dolphins anyway. So,
No, he was like the third and fourth string most productive wide receiver for the Dolphins.
and congratulations to Jordan Cameron for getting out.
Yes. Yes. Got out of the compound. I like it.
Best thing coming out of Cleveland in a while. I like it. Baltimore Ravens. I'm so happy to see Justin Forsett resign.
Yes.
I just,
Yeah,
thank
right?
goodness. I could not believe that people were so down. I get it, he's a little old. He had one breakout season, but come on, I'm excited for him. I am really, really excited for him. He had 44 receptions last year with 263 yards. I think that'll only increase this year. His rushing yards might not be as high, but that man is going to be great in PPR. So I like him. I love Flacco. I love Flacco. Yes, I think this is going to be the year he had I know.
So,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm on board with you.
Yeah, I think the Ravens are going to get some, draft more receivers. I think
have to.
Flacco's going to be more consistent and just even rock it out. Whatever. Flacco is a great quarterback too. I'm not saying draft him as your number 1, but on your bench, love him.
He's also good in good matchups. He's actually one that's predictable. So if you need to stream someone, he's actually accurate. Like if he's playing a bad team, he'll be good.
Absolutely, yeah.
I agree with you.
He's a little easier to predict for sure. And I'm okay with saying bye to Torrey Smith. Adios. Please don't let me pick up San Francisco. Really don't want that team. No one Okay, maybe 2 I don't want. San Francisco and Washington, don't want them. But I'm excited for the Ravens. A little bit, we need to build this offseason with the draft, but it's going to be a good year.
We ready to draw?
Let's do the draw, guys. AFC
right.
North.
Courtney first.
Courtney,
All right, give me the Steelers.
you will spin this season
For the Ravens.
covering the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, I'm so glad I did not get them.
Thing I like
I
most
know,
about
that's a lot of write-ups.
wise, you know Roethlisberger, you know Le'Veon Bell, you know Antonio Brown. Nobody else really touches the football. I think
right.
Martavius Bryant is a nice guy to have on your team. But for the most part, they have 3 players and that score all their fantasy points.
Yep.
Easy to analyze, Courtney.
And they
Way
score
to
a
go.
lot of them.
All right, who we got next?
Me.
Brandon.
Yes, me.
All right. Brandon. The Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, yeah, good one.
Never covered
Good one.
them.
This will be fun, man.
Yeah.
Mark Trestman, I think, makes Joe Flacco a fantasy-relevant quarterback. Matt Forte in Trestman's system last year caught an NFL record 102 passes. I like Justin Forsett as a round 2 running back in PPR leagues, catching the football in that offense because they don't have no wide receivers to catch it. And monitor the health of Dennis Pitta.
Oh.
Yeah,
no,
it does because the guy just fell, and I was like, "What happened to him?" And when he fell, a lot of my title hopes fell. But
Me too.
he's just trying to make a comeback, so I'll be interested, and I hope he does well because I'm sad for him.
Yeah.
Ashley,
Don't do it to me. Don't do it to me.
oh boy, this is going to be cool. The Red Rifle, the Cincinnati Bengals.
I got my ginge.
Yes.
Choose the
Right
Cleveland
now.
Browns for the grab bag.
I
Scary.
tell you quickly, fantasy owners are fickle. You do them dirty, they break up with you. AJ Green was terrible down the stretch last season. He might come into value on draft day. If you can get him in the middle towards the end of the second round, that's a steal. And Jeremy Hill, I love him. I'm on board. I'm on the Jeremy Hill train.
Me too.
Yep.
Love him. AFC
We got a
South.
wild card. All right.
Browns in the wild. Ashley Houston.
Texans. You're still grabbing Arian Foster. He's one of the few featured backs in the league where he doesn't have any sort of committee situation behind him.
Yes,
That is
and when he plays,
immense
he's
value. Yes, he's a little bit injury-ridden, I will say that. But when he plays balls out, he scores tons of points, and he is a featured back that is gold, fantasy gold. There are a few of them. We're still going Arian Foster. There'll be a bit of competition at the quarterback position this year between Ryan Mallett and Brian Hoyer. For everyone's sake, let's just hope they pick someone quickly and stick with them, and you should absolutely not pick either one of them up in any circumstance, ever, ever, ever. But it could have a little bit of effect in terms of Andre Johnson is now gone. You know, he didn't do a whole lot last year, but his presence on the field did help DeAndre Hopkins out, so his departure could have a bit of effect on Hopkins' production, and particularly if they can't get a quarterback situation figured out. But the good news is the defense is still good, and they got really good additions with Raheem Moore and Vince Wilfork. I love that addition. So I'm excited for the Texans defense, as always, especially my boy J.J. Watt. Love him.
Turn down for what?
Mm-hmm.
Is that old now? Is that like played out the whole turn down for what?
I don't know. I'm
No,
old.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
There is nothing that involves
Anybody?
J.J. Watt that's played out in my book.
No.
Maybe it's just me.
Yeah.
The
Probably.
Colts. I mean,
I'm still Gangnam styling. Is that
yeah,
weird?
No,
That is
that's
weird,
weird.
yeah.
That was weird when it was happening.
You have to
It's
lose
still
that.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Macarena.
That's still cool. That is.
Yeah. That one's like retro now.
Yeah, you can break that out and be cool
Yeah.
still.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Back.
Yeah.
All right. Back on track. Indianapolis Colts. Love. I want this team back so bad. Andrew Luck, your neckbeard, everything about you. You're my number one.
Power lies.
He's
Power.
number one quarterback, 2015. Number two,
Number 2. I'm still a Rogers girl. Sorry.
Rogers girl. Okay.
Close. I don't know.
I'm going Luck. I stole him so late last year. I couldn't believe it. And then now you got these new additions, Andre Johnson, Frank Gore. I'm still up to what's going to happen with Frank Gore. I think that's kind of a mystery to me. But Andre Johnson, I think does nothing but positive things for that receiving core and T.Y. Hilton. It's so nice to have somebody else to be focused on for those defenses, for T.Y. Hilton to get open and to even make more of a fantasy impact. I love him. Andre Johnson, I think you should be able to get for a great value low, real low, and I think he might be a surprise. I think he might be an old-timer that's going to come back and kick some butt, so I love
my only criticism of T.Y. Hilton's always been he's not very good at getting away from the shutdown corner, just like Sammy Watkins. Sammy Watkins actually disappears entirely, but T.Y. Hilton is the same thing. So if the shutdown corner has to decide between Andre Johnson and T.Y. Hilton, it might actually help out everybody. They might
that's what I'm saying. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
but Andre plays in the Z.
You got Kobe Fleener to fly in there and just distract the whole defense, right? Not so much?
Drop the ball, so it's perfect.
Right, Allen. And there's just a lot more. There's a lot more going downfield now, so I'm into it. I love the Colts. Super Bowl champs, 2016.
We're just calling it early.
So is the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not the Super Bowl
Absolutely.
So Sports Illustrated's Peter King today actually called the Jaguars the upset special that could get the trade for Adrian Peterson. And to that I say, yep, that's exactly what the Vikings would do to him if he decided to be a jerk.
Oh, man.
Send him to the Jags.
That's not nice. That's not nice to fantasy either. I don't like that.
No, it's not nice to anybody. But you know what?
No.
That's what happens when you're not nice to the team who's paying you gazillions of dollars.
That's right.
They have to protect Bortles more. A league-high 55 sacks in the year is not okay, and they'll never know what he can do unless they can keep him upright. It's unfair. I don't even know how to properly analyze him, but I do think they have a great wide receiver core, tons of potential. I feel like he really is trying hard and is dedicated to the team. I think that there could be a big uptick if they make the improvements in the offensive line that they need to do. Best receiving core that doesn't get used in the NFL. And who's their running back? And thank God for Julius Thomas, because there will be someone to talk about regardless.
Fair enough.
Hopefully, unless he's the Vernon Davis of 2014.
Ooh.
Oh, come on now.
Ooh, Courtney.
I'm just saying,
Whoa.
unless he is.
Whoa, I got a Vernon Davis joke later in the show.
No, I think didn't Vernon Davis have something like 23 catches on the season?
Yeah,
It was like that low.
he had less than 300 yards.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying.
No, that's bad.
It's
Really
Jackson.
good. No, it's like that's not even starter material.
He had like
Nope.
3 catches in week 1.
Yeah,
And then
that was the only time he scored a touchdown too.
is he
Brutal.
washed up or is it Colin Kaepernick?
It's Colin Kaepernick.
It's always Colin.
Everybody in unison. The church say amen.
Yeah, right.
Tennessee Titans.
Oh, speaking of rants, Bishop Sankey, you were all I will miss from covering the Tennessee Titans.
Oh, yeah.
I know. I'm gonna miss the Twitter hate I get for how much I hate him. I'm also gonna miss the Twitter love I get for the fellow haters out there. So I'm gonna miss that. But I will be intrigued to see the wideouts can elevate from wide receiver 2 status to see if at least one of them could bump up to wide receiver 1. They got potential. That's not likely right now. They got Zach Mettenberger as a quarterback for what it's worth. And that's not really worth much. Right, I know. They're always those sleeper guys people pick up for the potential. They never quite pan out, but you never know. And this is probably the #1 team that I do not want back.
Wow.
Give it to him.
Wow.
Give it to him, Corey. Give it to her.
All right.
All
here we
right.
go.
Let's do it.
Take it
AFC
away.
Yeah, we got a little
South.
shaker. All
Okay.
right, Courtney's first.
Colts.
All right, Courtney. You have the Tennessee. Welcome to Nashville.
Oh, yeah.
All
All
right.
over there.
I'll take that
Oh,
short
I got
right
one,
up.
yeah.
All right.
Welcome to
Tennessee
Nashville.
Titans.
Justin Hunter, the darling of drafts last year. I need to see more.
Yeah. I need to see more is the nice way of putting it.
All right, Brandon, this is you, right?
This is me.
The Houston Texans.
Oh.
It's not bad. Arian Foster.
Yeah. Defense.
Yeah, defense turned down for Watt.
Uh-huh.
You know what though? DeAndre Hopkins, wide receiver 1.
Lots of potential. Yep.
What? He won me a lot of games last year.
Wide receiver 1
Yep.
for DeAndre Hopkins. Without Dre in town, I like him as a wide receiver 1. All right, Ashley, you don't have to worry about Tennessee.
Give me Colts, baby. Give me Colts.
Give her Jags.
You have the Jacksonville Jaguars
No!
going to the wild card.
Wild card.
Yeah, Jacksonville.
man.
They play in the NFL.
Oh, you know what? I do like the young wide receivers. What's up with Justin Blackmon? Is he out?
He is needing to speak to the commissioner about
everything.
The
Yeah.
world.
About
Yes.
life.
But
about life.
they have
The one-man
Marquise
crime
Lee,
spree.
Alan
Alan Hearns, Marquise
Hearns.
Lee, good young wide receiver.
Alan Robinson.
Allen Robinson.
They have a lot of good. That's what I'm saying. The best
They do.
wide receiver core that doesn't get used.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt. I'm a fan of the wide receivers. They got to fix it up and watch out for Justin Blackmon because he's legit talent.
Yeah, just lots of drugs.
Yeah.
That's what all his stuff is marijuana.
I think it's all or,
You know-
and drinking and whatever else they once you mess up once they get you for all the drugs.
Turn
Yeah.
down for what?
Yeah.
Any
There you go.
temptation, he's susceptible to.
Yeah.
AFC
the wild card.
West.
Oh, the Colts were the wild card.
Yep.
Colts with the
Colts for
wild.
card.
They're in the grab bag with the Cleveland Browns.
That's right.
AFC West, Ashley, Denver Broncos.
Okay, so Peyton Manning is still the starter, and he is capable, people. There is no need to freak out and wonder if he will be any good. He is PFM. The biggest concern, maybe concern is not the word I'm actually looking for here, but there has been talk that Brock Osweiler will start to see some minutes. The reason for this is the Broncos need to see what they have in him. As this is his last year, they need to figure out what they want to do with his contract. So it'll be interesting to see how they incorporate him and if there's any sort of fantasy impact for you. I don't think there really will be. I think you probably see a little bit more fourth quarter play when it's blowouts, but something to somewhat think about. The Broncos did also lose Julius Thomas. He's been replaced by Owen Daniels. Daniels is a Kubiak man, but I don't love his value for fantasy. I'm thinking his value is right around a tight end 2 at best. So
I agree. Let's take that stance together, ladies, because everyone's
Yeah.
pumping him up like he's going to be the next Julius Thomas. He is not. He's in year 10 with Kubiak. They're celebrating their 10-year anniversary as a couple, and that's not good in the NFL.
He has a couple good splashy games, but overall,
Diamond? What is 10?
yeah.
Diamond. No, 10 is not the diamond.
Is it
anniversary.
gold?
I don't
No,
know.
gold's 50.
Okay.
Platinum.
Could it be a Super Bowl ring? Is that the 10-year?
Oh, yeah, it is.
All right. Now we're
Maybe.
talking.
Going like a vacation together.
I have a great resort in Jamaica. Jeff.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I love it.
Anyway, Emmanuel Sanders, Demaryius Thomas, they'll go high in the draft, and they deserve to go high in the draft after being the second highest and sixth highest wide receivers last year. So they'll go high, but I do want to keep your look on the backfield. Anderson did a great job last year, but I'm not fully convinced that he has the position locked up in terms of being the featured back. There's a lot of other good, running backs there as well. So I'm hoping we're not going to fall into a committee situation. So just keep your eye out during the preseason for that.
I was on a show, the FF Locker Room, a podcast, and they were saying, one of them was like, they think CJ Anderson's the stud of the year next year. They're obsessed with him. And I was like, well, I'm a Broncos fan, and I know we don't ever trust any running backs, so maybe I'm just cynical, but I'm still having a tough time trusting CJ Anderson. He did a great job, but because of the system, I'm not quite sure. So is that kind of what you're saying, basically, is like we just don't know yet?
Yeah, I mean, Hillman's got a lot of talent. Ball, they were all high on Ball. I could see them wanting to rotate people in a bit.
Yeah, right?
I think we're going to run a bit more because Peyton is getting older, so I think we're going to run a bit more. So I could see there being a bit more committee situation. I hope not. I hope they're going to go Anderson because I think he's actually a really stellar player. But I'm just saying I'm not convinced at this point in the offseason to lock that up as if he's got that role as the feature back.
I'm not mad if you get the running back and you handcuff yourself to the backup because whoever's going to be in is in it to win, and I think will help your fantasy team regardless of who it is. So I think that's a healthy handcuff.
All right, Chargers.
Chargers.
Do we have to?
I know.
Kidding.
I talk about the Tennessee Titans, so you have to talk about the Chargers.
Yeah, wow. It's so sad because the Chargers used to be one of our favorite teams to cover, and last year was a very bizarre year, and it doesn't seem to be looking much better, unfortunately. Ian Rappaport says that it will take, quote-unquote, multiple first-round draft picks to get Rivers. What? No one's worth multiple first-round draft picks. What? Who even has that to give? And for how many years? And for a guy who's, like, at the end of his career? Chargers are crazy.
Crazy.
Come to the Broncos, Rivers. Come to the Broncos.
Yeah, we are cheering for that. It would be kind of fun. A little marriage. Brandon Oliver will not be the featured back, and he shouldn't. That's my prediction. I think this is crazy that they're saying he's the guy. He's a great complimentary back. But about that, I'm curious as to what Danny Woodhead's going to do. And in PPR leagues, you can get him for almost free, for nothing. Just pick him up. Who cares? And I think he might be a really interesting plug and play all next year, depending on the matchup and whether or not they can defend running backs that guard pass catching backs, which is
especially
very
since
specific.
Especially because he didn't play last year, he's become a forgotten man.
Oh yeah, he's a fire sale right now.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Stevie Johnson intrigues me because you know what? He had 1,000+ yards in 2010, 2011, and 2012 with an quarterback. And then I was going to sing Memories, but I'm tired.
Really? I was going to say, that's how you do me. I can't.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. That was the best press conference of all time. And then Antonio Gates will never die. How old and huge can that man get and still catch an unbelievable amount of passes? I love him.
Yeah,
totally Team America-ing this guy. He will never die.
Never die. Nope.
The best.
He's a big boy.
And I'm sorry, we're talking about this ring character like he matters. He does not matter. He didn't matter last year. He's not going to matter this year. Until Antonio Gates physically takes off his cleats and leaves the stadium, he's catching all the balls.
I think Antonio Gates will eat the Darius Green.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And just swallow him, getting in my belly style.
Yeah.
I agree.
He needs a little extra protein at his age now.
Yeah, he does.
He's a big dude.
He's named Centrium for men. Good for you. I'm drafting you. Listen, I was the one who told everyone to actually trade for Antonio Gates in week 4, and people thought it was crazy. Yeah. If you had him week 14 through 16, you won your championship. He was a top 3 guy each week.
People do not take Owen Daniels over Antonio Gates. Do not do it to yourself.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Don't do it.
What about anybody for the Raiders? Anyone? No. No.
Latavius Murray.
Yeah, I agree.
One good game. One good game. I'm excited to see what he offers. I am. I'm like, I really hope that it's something positive. But it's the Raiders, and I just don't see that really like being a steady, consistent pick. I wouldn't draft him. If he was on the waiver wires, I would maybe pick him up for a game or two. I don't think I would not draft him.
I wouldn't draft him as my RB1.
I would not draft him as my RB2.
Ooh, bold.
But you would draft him as your backup.
Would you have drafted? Were you excited about Maurice Jones-Drew, Darren McFadden last year? Do you think Latavius is going to be those two put together plus 600 yards and 4 touchdowns?
About Darren McFadden.
No. It's the Raiders have so much building they have to do before the running back is going to be successful behind that line. Derek Carr, I love him, but he too is not draft worthy yet. The defense, they made a lot of moves in the defense, which is very exciting, but they have a tough division. They still have a lot of work to do. Jack Del Rio is not a miracle maker. He's no Belichick. You know, he's not going to be doing some black magic on the Oakland Raiders to make them all of a sudden perform out of nowhere. It's not going to happen. So I always love to pull a sleeper out of the Oakland Raiders. You know how I feel about Rod Streeter. He's coming back this year, guys.
Perennial sleeper.
So I almost hope that I get the Raiders again so I can say play Rod Streeter at least 3 times this next year. It's going to happen.
Wow.
It's going to happen. Do it, Streeter. You're my favorite. Chiefs.
Jeez. So I'm sure you all know by now, Jerry Maclin is in, Dwayne Bowe is out. I'm kind of sad to see Dwayne Bowe leave, but I'm intrigued by the Jeremy Maclin addition. The addition of Jerry Maclin is intriguing for the idea with Alex Smith this year. They're going to let him loose, I feel like, which could make him an interesting, solid backup option. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by you, Alex Smith.
Okay.
Jamal Charles, again, not for your first quarterback. Let's be very clear about that. Or if you're in a 2-quarterback league, I'm talking dicey. You might want to plug him in on a bye week. You want to plug him in for an injury. But I'm intrigued. Jamal Charles, he's a round 1 pick. Don't get cute. You know, he was the 7th highest scoring, running back last year, and that was pretty good considering he had a really slow start. So he's still the man. And the Chiefs need more improvement at the wideout position than just Jeremy Maclin. I mean, not a single touchdown last year. It is both hysterical and pathetic. And
yeah, for those of you who don't know, Her Fantasy Football was very much cheering for that to happen, for them not to score. We were like, come on, you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, if they can make it 2 years in a row, we're really talking. Really talking.
That'd be pretty hardcore.
It would be.
They won't, though. Maclin's better than that.
No, they won't. Macklin's in. He's a good pickup.
You know, I think Smith needs to start throwing some interceptions, and I say that in the nicest way. I mean, he really just needs to air it out, have a few mess-ups, just, you know, get it out of your system, and just keep doing it. Just
they're going to let him loose this year.
Down the field. You got it. You know, he's getting old enough that he should be doing that by now. There's more than just 10 yards, Smith. There's more than just 10 yards. All right, let's do this. Let's do it. Let's pick.
Here we go. We got the draw.
Courtney first.
Courtney, you're up
first. It's kind of exciting you first, Courtney.
Hey, how you like it?
Raiders, Chargers. Raiders or Chargers?
You got the San Diego Chargers.
Woo!
I'm into that. I'm into Crybaby Rivers.
Gates.
You what?
You got big fat Antonio Gates. You be covering Antonio Gates.
Fatty and Crybaby.
Telling people that's a rib guard, but I think it may not be.
All right, Brandon.
Brandon.
Yeah?
You have the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
Listen, I tell you what, Jamal Charles stud. If you have Charles, make sure you get Nile Davis for those games when Charles are banged up. Travis Kelce.
He's an interesting tight end pick, yep.
Tight end position. Alex Smith doesn't throw outside the hash marks. Tight end is a good position for him. Jeremy Maclin, I don't want no parts of it.
Ooh.
Alex Smith sucks.
Nobody jumped on my
Who do you
Alex
want?
Smith bandwagon.
Nobody's
want,
going to jump
Ashley?
on that.
Who do I want?
Yeah.
Well, I want the Broncos, obviously, but...
Get the Raiders.
You
They're
got the
best.
Raiders.
Oh!
Yeah! Raiders are the best.
I'm a Latavius Murray supporter. I like him as an RB2.
All right. I like it. RB2.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, on your fantasy team.
Flex.
Not like overall 2.
Right.
Right. Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, I'd totally take him over LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah.
We should put him down for that.
Le'Veon Bell and Latavius Murray.
All right.
NFC East. Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys. Des Bryant. I just love him. It doesn't get better than that. I'm sorry. He's legit. I don't care how much he's yelling or crying on the sidelines. You were drafting that man. Drafting him into it. Still nothing on the contract per side, but we're okay. It's okay. Tony Romo. This will be interesting. RB2? I mean, quarterback 2? Do you think quarterback? No, we're not doing it 1. Quarterback 2. And,
Really?
well, you know, I'm worried it's going to be, if we don't get, as if I'm a Cowboys fan, if the Cowboys don't get AP, I think that this is going to be a little bit more strategic on how we're going to get the ball out, although you know how I feel about the offensive line. I feel like any running back in the system can get it done. And that's what I'm actually really excited for, is the running backs. See if they draft somebody, if they don't get AP. But again, it's just the system. It's the system. It's like Chip Kelly in Philadelphia. It's that offensive line and the Cowboys. I like it. I love the Cowboys. I want them back.
Would you like a special say, Corey, since this is your babykins?
I'm just much very, very similar to Pittsburgh. It's the running back, whoever that's going to be, Tony Romo and Des Bryant. They're the guys going to score the fantasy points. Terrence Williams will flash at moments. Jason Witten is getting kind of long in the tooth. Whoever that running back is, if it is Todd Gurley, I would take him on the turn.
Yeah.
2-12, 3-1.
It's a great offensive line, especially
Yeah.
for a rookie running back to come in. He could be successful.
If it's Darren McFadden, then we got to figure something out.
I feel like we are underestimating how good DeMarco Murray is, though. I mean, I know their offensive line is great, but
he's good.
He was special. I don't think whoever is back there is going to get DeMarco Murray numbers. I think they'll do
I'm not saying
well,
that.
but I don't think I just think that the the expectation needs to be tempered a little bit. I think people are just like, oh yeah, well it's the offensive line, they can do whatever, and I'm like, well,
no, it's talent. It's talent.
I mean,
the talent. Joseph Randle can't do it.
Absolutely not. We saw that.
He averaged 6 yards a carry.
Yeah, but that's because he had those like weird ones that were like
touchdowns.
For like 40 yards, and he only carried the ball like 8 times.
Yeah, it's true, but.
I disagree. They're not going to get Murray numbers, but they're going to get fantasy numbers, and I don't care. Like,
hopefully, we can find a fantasy running back that's a 3-down back, and not a committee, not the dreaded committee.
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying. Is Randall is never going to be a featured back in any system ever anywhere. So it's hard to compare that to DeMarco Murray. Same with Darren McFadden. He's like, I don't get me started on Darren McFadden. He's washed up and he's good for like a play of splash here and there. But you put a featured back in like a Todd Gurley, like you're saying, there's potential because that line is that good. No one's expecting, absolutely the highest scoring running back of the season, but maybe top 10 production for sure.
Yeah. Well, I have the Philadelphia Eagles. They've lost their flippin' mind.
Great.
Flipping is a new word.
Nice, Ashley.
So they're replacing Jeremy Maclin will be tough considering he caught 85 passes for 1,318 yards and 10 touchdowns, and that was when Marky Mark even came into play. And he also gave them veteran leadership that they do not have now. Good luck to his predecessor, I guess. I think that's what they're calling him, Jordan Matthews, who showed promise last year. I do actually like him as a player. In his rookie season, he caught 67 passes for 872 yards and 8 touchdowns. But that's because Marky Mark loved him. It was the opposite for him. So it's a little bit crazy town. And then few people talk about Chip Kelly's defensive philosophies, but if it revolves around turnovers, which is extremely fantasy relevant. They led the league with defensive fantasy categories with 16 fumble recoveries, 7 defensive touchdowns, 4 return touchdowns, and tied for 8th, though, in giving up the most points. So it's crazy. I'm a DeMarco Murray supporter, and I think that he's a one-cut-and-go kind of guy, which is exactly what Chip Kelly wants. And then someone send Sam Bradford some bubble wrap because this team needs him, and it would be nice if the guy could just catch a break, right?
Yeah, I'm rooting for you, Sam. Just at least half a season, right? At least let's get half a season.
When I read your notes and I saw bubble wrap, I thought you meant because they're going to be shipping him out of there. I was like, whoa, ouch, Brandon.
Oh.
Ouch.
A lot of people think that, but I'm like,
nah.
No, I don't think so.
I think they're going to keep him. I don't think they can get Mariota. It's way too much for them to trade up for him.
I agree. New York Giants. I'm really excited about this team next year. Victor Cruz, I hope nothing but the best for you. I hope that you come back and just you and ODB are the duo that everybody wants. I really hope that for you. But if that's not the case, we still have ODB, which, I'm drafting him in every single one of my leagues. I don't care what anybody else says. You don't get them. No, Ashley.
I want him. I want him.
Together. No. I think everybody wants him. He's fabulous. Vereen, the new addition to the Giants, I am so excited about. Not necessarily I am excited for fantasy. He catches a lot of balls. Rashad Jennings has a hard time staying healthy. So I think Vereen is going to be used even more this season than people think he's going to be because I don't think Jennings is going to make it through the whole season, but if he does make it through a whole season, this is going to be this season because Vereen should be taking the workload off of him for him to be able to stay healthy. But I'm not investing in Jennings this year in fantasy. It's not my favorite combo. Who I am investing in is Eli Manning. I'm on board, you guys. I'm okay with waiting on my quarterback and picking Eli as my number 1 quarterback late in the draft. I'm
Brandon
okay
cringing? I can't tell if Brandon's cringing or not.
I'm having conflicted emotions.
Okay.
Well, the year that I had Eli Manning and covered the Giants, he was heinous. It was disaster. And then last year it got a little better because, as I said, he had to send a fruit basket to Odell Beckham Jr. For saving his job. And then this year he has to be good because everyone else around him is good. I have to feel like that's going to happen. So I feel like logistically I know that, but emotionally I'm still a little torn. I need to see it.
He's a two-time Super Bowl champion.
And a turnover princess.
Well,
He had his highest completion rating with 63.1 last year than he's ever had in the NFL.
Because he had Odell Beckham Jr.
And he
he's not
still
going
has
anywhere.
Odell Beckham Jr.
I know,
And now he has Shane
changed my
Vereen.
tune.
And now he has Shane Vereen to catch the ball. And hopefully Victor Cruz will be back for the whole season. I mean, he's got so many weapons. I just feel like for what you can get him, he's totally worth it. Totally worth it.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, no, I agree. Just breaks my heart.
Who's not worth it? Washington Redskins.
Is it sad I want this team back because they're so drama-packed? I love it.
Good. I hope you get him back.
Oh my gosh. I just have, a very short phrase of pull your shit together. Pull it together. They're not going to do it. But you know what? There's a chance out there. There's talk for the Redskins will pick up Marcus Mariota, and that will just throw a wrench into RG3's plan, which is going to cause locker room drama. It's going to be more dramatic than the Real Housewives. I am into it. I want this team back. For no fantasy value, other than maybe Deshaun Jackson, Alfred Morris. Deshaun Jackson was the 16th highest scoring wide receiver last year. I don't think that's going to drop per se because it was a complete nightmare last year. The carousel of quarterbacks, whether it's Mariota or RG3, his value should stay the same. And Alfred Morris, I think he's got a really good chance to actually have his best year yet because of this possible quarterback situation. I'm hoping they're going to have a bit more of a focus on the running game this year to have a little bit more consistency for the Redskins to give them some sort of chance of stability and of winning of some nature. So I like him too. So I kind of want this nightmare team back.
Okay, this is the one of two I don't want. All right,
Courtney,
let's do the
here we
draft. NFC East.
Here we go, Courtney.
I'll take anybody but the Washington Redskins.
You are covering Odell Beckham Jr.
Oh my God.
Cruz and the New York Giants. I just want to say this to everybody, fantasy owners. Never in the history of fantasy football has a player missed 6 games in one season and come back the next season and be a first-round draft pick.
Thank you.
Let's not get too carried away with our love for Odell Beckham Jr. He still has a soft tissue injury that caused him to miss, 5-6 games last year, the entire preseason.
4.
Talking about how much it hurt him this past year in the offseason. But I do think Eli Manning is on board for a very big year.
Yeah.
I do not start your team with Odell Beckham Jr. I just can't stress it enough. I'm going to get killed on Twitter for that. And I say it, and people are paying attention.
I'm tweeting you right now.
Okay, go ahead, tweet me right now.
Blast you up.
But
You are
That's
wrong.
the fantasy
if you're the second
exec.
guy on my team, I'm cool with it, but not the first guy on my team. I'm sorry.
If
And
you
I know
really
a lot of
want to
love for
have,
him out there.
Who
if
do
you
I
really
get?
want to have some fun, Corey, say something about Bishop Sankey.
Yeah.
Brandon, you got the Dallas Cowboys. America's
Ooh.
I'm gonna save a horse.
Cowboy.
All right, there you
All
go.
right.
Actually,
a cowboy.
You want Washington, don't you?
I sure do. Give me my nightmare.
Because I don't.
Give me my nightmare.
The drama that is Washington, D.C. football.
Oh!
Yeah.
All right. Chip
Come on,
Kelly and the
guys.
Eagles goes into the grab bag.
The drama
Love
is fun. The
I
drama is
love
fun.
All
All
right.
right.
This one's a
Green
good division.
Bay.
This one's a good one, you guys. The NFC North. Packers.
Green Bay Packers. I'm so glad that Randall Cobb is a Packer again, and I fully expect both he and Jordy Nelson to put up 1,000+ yards, double-digit touchdowns again. Put it in the books. Aaron Rodgers is the #1 quarterback going into 2015 and should be considered rather high in the draft along with that Andrew Luck. That's my feelings about this. Eddie Lacy won me over, and now I might be too high on him, but I don't care. I enjoy him. He's a power back. He proved me wrong, and I'm into him. Don't they have a tight end? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Andrew
No.
Rogers.
Yeah.
Richard Rodgers.
Yeah, no one actually cares
No
about
one
those.
cares.
No.
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 And I would like to see their defense put up fantasy numbers so that analysis can truly be play everybody. But the defense hasn't been doing it.
No.
Done.
Not quite.
Lions.
Lions. So the Lions desperately need Matthew Stafford to have a more productive season. In 2014, he was the 15th highest scoring quarterback last year, which was, definitely short of expectations. He only threw for 22 touchdowns last year. To give you an idea, Andrew Luck threw for 40. Even more scary, Derek Carr only threw for one less than Matthew Stafford. One less. That is crazy. Joique Bell is the feature back at the moment, but more than likely the Lions will have to pick somebody else up to fill Reggie Bush's role.
No.
In this situation, I was so excited thinking we're finally out of this committee nightmare in Detroit. But let's see who they pick up in the draft. We don't know. You still might be okay with Joique Bell, so you still might be all right. And then kind of like you're saying with the tight ends, Brandon, last year, the Lions completely forgot about this position last year. They just completely forgot about it. There was not a single Detroit Lion tight end in the top 30 tight ends.
And tight ends were terrible.
They were terrible. Eric Ebron was their leading tight end, and that doesn't say much. Literally, they did nothing. They never threw the tight ends. It is sad. And Stafford, Golden Tate, and Megatron need to find some synergy on the field. For some reason, when all three are on the field, nothing happens. They're terrible. So work it out, boys.
Work it out.
Work it out. Vikings. I am excited about Teddy Bridgewater this year. I think my sophomore is about to have a breakout fantasy season, especially if AP is on the roster. That brings me. I love Charles Johnson. I really enjoy him. I think you can get him at a great value. Hopefully, cross your fingers, he is not the Cordell Patterson of 2014.
No,
that'll make me cry. But the coaches love him. I think they say he's number one. He's number one in my eyes. I'm into it. Mike Wallace is a great addition to the receiving core. Just more targets for Bridgewater in his sophomore year to really air the ball out. And I'm excited. I'm excited for the Vikings. I hope I don't get them back, but I'm totally excited for their 2015 season.
Chicago Bears. One of my favorite moments of the season was breaking out into hysterical laughter to the point where I almost cried. In fact, my husband can vouch for this. Watching the Bears-Saints game on that Monday Night Football where Jay Gruden almost died, and Jay Cutler lost his job. Do you remember this? It was brilliant. I was like, this is the worst professional football I've ever seen in my life. They were so terrible.
So bad.
Gruden should announce every single game. I can't handle it. It's the best.
It was so bad. There were like 4 turnovers in the first minute of the game. I was like, you guys are all so bad. Oh my God. I can't believe this is happening. And it just kept up. And literally, Gruden just stopped talking for the second quarter. He couldn't comprehend. He was like,
I love when he can't. He's just like, I love it. I love a flustered Gruden.
Wow. Wow. But I will say, Cutler without Marshall is like Girl Scout cookies without Samoas. It's not right.
Not right.
I think you're looking for Thin Mints there.
Right. Oh, but those are great too. I like those in ice cream.
Those are the best.
That's a good call. Thin Mints. That's a good.
Yeah.
That's a good.
Girl Scout cookie draft.
Girl Scout cookie draft.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be a toss-up because we got tag-alongs too. They're a real competitor too.
Okay.
Now they've got gluten-free cookies. It's just crazy, terrible.
Yeah. All I'm saying is it's wrong. It's wrong.
Gluten-free cookie. That's Jay Cutler, right there.
Yeah.
No fun in that.
And then I still like Alshon Jeffrey, Martellus Bennett, and Matt Forte. So all is not lost. Those are 3 still legitimate fantasy players going into next season.
You love the Bears. I hope you get
love
the Bears back.
Yeah.
You need the Bears. Those are your babies.
Courtney's first.
Give me my Lions. My second favorite NFL team. Give me my Lions.
No. Give you the Vikings.
You got the Minnesota Vikings, Courtney.
Yeah. I'll take it. I'm not upset about it. It's okay.
I'm a Charles Johnson guy also, but I'm real high on Mike Wallace.
Yeah.
With North Turner. Last time North Turner had a legit wide receiver, Josh Gordon put up monster numbers. And Jerick McKinnon. Also, if Adrian Peterson's not there, Jerick McKinson's going to have RB2 value, catch the ball out of the backfield. Wallace, McKinnon, and Bridgewater, and Charles Johnson. They got some options.
I take McKinnon over Latavius Murray.
I think it's a toss-up.
I'm going to defend the Matt Asiata train.
Uh-oh.
Oh, what?
That's right, I went there. No one believes me.
You did go there.
It's called fantasy numbers, not just the game tape. It's also about the numbers.
No, it's about what they do in the locker room.
He did something.
Not like that. What?
In the locker room.
No. Like no, McKinnon's like he's a harder worker. I'm sorry, that sounded bad. That sounded like
I was like,
got quiet.
Miami offensive line problem. No,
yeah, staph infection. Tampa Bay.
No.
Brandon, you're covering the Chicago Bears.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
That's a repeat.
Thank
That's a repeat. Hat trick.
Hat trick.
A hat trick.
Hat trick.
I love Alshon Jeffrey.
Turkey
this year.
if you're bowling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Alshon Jeffrey, wide receiver 1 this year.
Yeah, agreed. Who's Ashley doing?
Ashley, what do you want?
I love me some Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, don't steal them from me.
You got the Detroit Lions.
All right, I'll take
But
it.
listen, Drake Bell, Theo Reddick, Golden Tate. Not exciting.
I love this
Calvin
division.
Johnson, you can cover
There's
Calvin
no
Johnson
losing.
knee injuries.
Yeah,
I love.
that'd be
Yeah,
nice. Full-time job.
we gotta do something.
Something. This division, on the other hand, is not one I'm too excited about. The NFC South, Carolina Panthers. You know, I really hope Cam Newton has a comeback year. They definitely need to get him a couple more targets for sure, but you know, Greg Olson's legit, and I can't stress it enough. I think he will be Mr. Consistent yet again in 2015. There is no shame in that, you guys. He averages an 8.6 fantasy points a game, and if you've played fantasy before, you know in a tight end, that's huge if you don't have Rob Gronkowski. Like, that is like 8 points every day. I'm taking it. I'm taking it. And Calvin Benjamin, well, he's no longer a rookie. I just want him to catch more than half of his targets this year. That's my goal for him. Just more than half of his targets.
Baby steps.
It would help if there was somebody else that Cam Newton can throw the ball to distract the defense, but, you know, I don't ask for a lot. Come on, Benjamin. I do enjoy
He would have
him.
been lost without Greg Olson last season. He's
Oh,
not
my
that
gosh.
good. He's a product of volume. He got the
Oh,
ball
yeah.
thrown to him a lot, but his talent is not that good. The
Oh.
volume and the fact that Greg Olson was really protecting him made his season much better than it was.
But
I
that's
think
the
he
thing about
had
fantasy
like
football.
145
Yeah,
targets.
Volume is what we
145 targets, but only caught like 73 of them. You
Yeah.
know? So like that's not a good ratio, you know? But he was a rookie and he was the only receiver on the team. So I mean, I feel like if they build around
Okachiri?
Patry who?
Oh, I should. Love it.
New Orleans Saints.
New Orleans Saints. I was actually sad about how little I enjoyed covering this team last year because they were one of my favorites going in. I thought I would really like it. I did not. Drew Brees, still tied for the most passing yards in the league this year, regardless of what it felt like. Just under 5,000 yards, and he was 5,000 yards the 3 years prior. So, listen, you didn't feel like that when he was your starting quarterback, but those are the facts. And the Saints without Jimmy Graham is a house of horrors, if you ask me. A complete disaster zone. I don't even know what to say. The defense was so putrid. I'm not going to talk about them. And I wanted to get behind Mark Ingram being the solo back, and I was really excited when they gave him that contract. And I was like, yes, he really proved himself last year. Yeah. And then they brought in C.J. Spiller, and I was like,
excitement just
are back on the no draft zone. Boo.
Is that like the friend zone?
Kind of. The Saints and the Patriots, no draft zone.
Yeah, it's like the friend zone.
Yeah.
Sure is. You can never get out of the friend zone.
It does suck.
Yeah.
No, it's like your best girlfriend's ex-boyfriend. You know, it's just like you're never gonna touch that. You know, it's not even that you enjoy your friends. This person's like, no,
No.
nope. You screwed me over too many times, my friend.
I'll definitely split the bill with you at dinner.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You got this one. I'll take care of it.
I'll just take care of it. I don't want
Yeah.
to get impression. Absolutely. Falcons.
So Matt Ryan, I'm intrigued. I don't think his stock is actually going to drop this year with the loss of head coach Mike Smith, who was the only coach he ever played with, the only coach he knows in terms of the NFL. So I don't think it's going to drop. He was the 7th highest scoring quarterback last year, and that was during a rocky season in general with a lot of his players around him just not doing much. So I don't think you need to fret about Matt Ryan. I think he is still a solid top quarterback option. Don't freak out. And the Falcons missed the presence of Tony Gonzalez a lot last year. That is evident in the fact that they have taken good measures to bulk up their tight end roles this year by signing Jacob Tamme, Tony Macchiato. So it's just they're going to need that presence in the middle there. And the Falcons have not exactly been a rushing powerhouse either last year. That was rough. So, they're going to have to fill the hole left by getting rid of Steven Jackson. Yeah, they got Devontae Freeman. I'm not a huge Freeman fan, but I think they're going to need more than that in order to be effective. And their defense needed an overhaul, which they're taking care of as well. The fact that they were the second worst in the league in terms of sacks. So they may be looking Vic Beasley's direction in the draft. So it should be interesting to see what the Falcons do. And other than Julio Jones, I'm really super excited about this team.
Julio! I love you.
Yep. On to the less exciting team of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh, man.
So, the question is, will Jameis Winston be a positive addition to the team or a complete distraction? Or will the Bucs go real crazy and draft Marcus Mariota? I'm intrigued. Either way, I really like Mike Evans. He was the second highest scoring rookie last year and the 11th overall highest scoring wideout. My biggest issue with him is he's a touchdown receiver. He doesn't actually get that much yardage. He's pretty much a touchdown target. So if they don't get anywhere near that, then he basically almost zeroes out for yardage on a game. He has to score touchdowns for you to get points. I don't love that. That makes him a little bit of a scary pickup for me. And then we got the whole, talking about a running back nightmare situation. You got Doug Martin, terrible. You got Charles Sims, who's supposed to surpass him at some point. They're saying that Doug Martin technically is still the starter. You got Bobby Rainey, who is actually their most productive back in terms of per touch basis. And then you got Mike James. So I am staying entirely away from this entire situation. Maybe picking up Charles Sims late in the draft as like a third, fourth running back, maybe.
Like it.
If I get the team that drafts
Jameis
Winston,
give me the Panthers or the Falcons. Panthers or Falcons.
It's Winston.
You'll be talking about or writing about covering the Atlanta Falcons this season.
All right.
NFC South. I want to see Devonta Freeman in preseason. Julio Jones is a stud. So is Matt Ryan. It should be fun.
Do you love Freeman? I'm not sold.
Roddy might be a deal this year.
Oh yeah. You're gonna be able to get him very late.
Low.
And in the PPR, that's going to be excellent for you.
Yeah.
All right, Brandon.
Don't forget Roddy. Don't forget Roddy White.
You got the Carolina Panthers in this division.
All right, I got Cam
You
and
can
Cam.
do that.
That's the second best. That's the second best.
They need to draft a running back because Jonathan Stewart is a beat up old man.
Now that they don't
I didn't
have
even talk about him.
True story.
All right, Ashley.
Don't do it, Timmy. Don't give me the Bucks. Don't do it.
I'm not going to give you the Bucks. I'm going to give you a team I think is less interesting than New Orleans Saints.
Oh.
Yeah.
Be honest with you.
They're
what?
boring, right? They're just
Don't
boring.
overdraft Brandon Cooks. Another word to the wise.
Yeah.
Do not overdraft Brandon Cooks. He's going in like the second, third round of early drafts. But I do like I'm still a Mark Ingram guy, even with Spiller in town. I'm still a Mark Ingram guy. I think the offense can support both. And Tampa Bay went into the wild card pile, but Dirk Cotter, offensive coordinator in Tampa Bay now.
Yeah. Better.
He supported Julio Jones.
Yeah.
A tight end in Tony Gonzalez and Roddy White. Why can't he come to Tampa Bay and get passes for Mike Evans, Vincent Jackson, and a young Austin Seferian-Jenkins? Tampa Bay, listen, they might be on the come up.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, Jameis is scary.
I mean, James
Scary.
like women.
It's scary.
Other than that.
Oh, well, okay, you're right. I'm sorry.
I
I don't
Yeah.
want problems.
already made.
But the running back situation, Corey, is devastating.
That is empty. Okay. What we got?
All right.
One more division.
All right. NFC West, Seattle Seahawks.
Great. This is the easiest team to cover of all time because all I would say over and over again is Russell Wilson, Marshawn Lynch, and after Week 8, defense. End of discussion. There's literally nothing else to talk about. But on that, I'm going to say again, literally, There was nothing else to talk about. In standard scoring, Russell Wilson scored 327 fantasy points. Lynch, 265. The next person, Doug Baldwin with 101. That's a huge drop-off, people. There was no production. And not only that, there was no consistent production. And it never made any sense, and it had nothing to do with the matchup. And that's why when they threw that 1-yard pass during the Super Bowl, no one had ever questioned them before then. Guys, they've been doing stupid things like that all season. That's their whole mantra. I don't understand why anyone was shocked by that. If you watched any game tape, you'd be like, yeah, that's what they were going to do. That's why the guy jumped in front of him. Anyway, that's my whole analysis, just like it was all year.
All right.
I love it. Thank you.
I did
Might be as quick with the Arizona Cardinals. I love them. I want them back. I love this defense. I love Carson Palmer healthy. I hope AP goes there because I hope I get this team back, and you know how I feel about AP. And Bruce Arians is the best thing to happen to the NFL in a long time. So I am just excited. I'm excited that hopefully Palmer will stay healthy and we don't have to draft Ellington again where we draft him, because he's really starting to tick me off by disappointing me. That's where I am at the Cardinals.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
San Francisco 49ers.
Oh, yeah, 49ers. I'm sorry. I keep trying to forget that I covered them. Things got so weird at the end of the season, I don't even know what to say. So we're going to forget all about that. Except for I will say Colin Kaepernick at the end of the season did have a very strong last 2 games. Week 16 and week 17, where you had already dropped him and had no reason to play him ever. But in week 16, they finally let him run. He ran 151 yards and scored his 1 rushing touchdown on the year. That's right. This Russian quarterback scored uno. Anquan Boldin is a ridiculously underrated player in the National Football League. And I just want to give him one more shout out.
Love him.
I mean, I'm not going to draft him next year because he is officially old, you guys. Let's put it out there. But he had a great year last year, and we told you that he was a sleeper. We were one of the people that were like, listen, draft this guy. 83 catches, 1,062 yards, touchdowns. Great value if you did. This year, it's probably going to be a little dicier. They have a different kind of offensive situation going on down there, as in one of the coaches hasn't even been coaching for 2 years because he's been in radio. It's fine. That's cool. We do podcasts, so I'm not disrespecting you, but I'm not going to coach the 49ers next year. So at least now I won't have to watch this team waste Frank Gore's talent. That was infuriating. And Vernon Davis disappeared and vanished into thin air. I don't know where he is.
So
I hope
sad.
he's well.
Seriously.
That's
Rams. The Rams. I'm intrigued by Nick Foles and what this will bring to the team.
I am too.
I think he's going to bring some stability, which is kind of odd to say, but to a team that has desperately needed that for a really long time. So I'm intrigued by the Nick Foles addition. And with the Rams, I'm hoping they're going to commit to a running back this year. Hopefully they commit to Trey Mason. He was the 23rd highest scoring running back last season, despite an early season rotation between Zach Stacy and Benny Cunningham. So I'd like to see them actually commit and not put themselves again in a committee situation, because the Rams just are so non-committal on all fronts for everything always. They just won't commit, period.
That's half the problem.
It is half their problem is they won't commit. And so I'm intrigued also by the Nick Foles to see if he's able to kind of step up the game with the wide receivers, because the Rams are another one of those teams where they're good for at least one sleeper wide receiver each year. We'll see what that happens with Nick Foles. And this might be our last year we see them as the St. Louis Rams. They may be yet again the Los Angeles Rams.
I actually kind of like that.
Do you? But because LA doesn't support any football team.
Yeah, I wish Baltimore was. I wish the Colts were still Baltimore too.
No.
Almost.
Oh, boo. Let's do it.
Here you go,
All
Courtney.
right. Cardinals, let's go. Just not 49ers.
All right. Well, what do you know? You got the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh!
I'm getting everybody I want. I'm into this.
What happened to Michael Floyd?
Oh,
Right?
That was
Like, he was the sleeper. He was the sleeper in 2014.
yeah.
He was overdrafted in 2014.
He's gonna be Mr. Everything. Nothing.
Mr.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Who would you like, Brandon? Oh, I'm sorry.
There's no winning in this league.
Nothing. Oh man, the San Francisco 49ers.
That's okay. I'm okay with that.
Don't overdraft Carlos Hyde.
No, please, dear God.
You looked right in the camera when you said
Yeah,
that.
I was like,
You was serious with that one, yeah.
Bad.
Carlos Hyde hype is over the top
Yeah,
right now.
second
People
round
are
in
taking
early
him in
drafts.
second round.
Yeah.
That is
Ashley?
nuts.
Ashley,
I just don't want the Rams.
Oh, the Rams.
I don't want
That's
the. I do
Seattle
not
Seahawks.
want the Rams.
You got the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, your man Russell Wilson.
She
She hates Russell Wilson.
This should
I
be
love
fun
it.
again.
Russell
This
Wilson,
should be-
is he going to be an elite fantasy quarterback?
Yes, because he's been in the top 10 for 3 years in a row.
He's
can
an elite game manager. I give him that.
Oh,
He's got Graham now. I think, I think
Shots fired.
he's going to be elite.
Alex Smith is a game manager.
Sure is. And Russell Wilson is the elite.
Elite
An elite
game manager.
manager. He's Alex Smith on steroids.
He is Alex Smith on steroids.
I like it.
All right, now we're in the wild card round.
Wild card.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Anything
Alright.
can happen, ladies.
So
All right.
excited. Don't give me the Browns.
All right.
This
Who
is
goes
for
first?
this is for Courtney.
I do.
Here you go. NFL news.
No
Oh,
way! 3 years in a row?
Now, that's a hat trick. That's a hat trick.
That's disgusting.
You're
I love you. Oh my god.
All right, Brandon, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right.
Give her Browns. Give her Browns.
Browns.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh, all right.
Jameis
Wow.
Winston.
No.
Jameis Winston.
No, I'm the only one with morals.
That's true. I could soak up some Jameis Winston.
Oh, man. Love it.
All right.
All right, Colts,
Ashley,
baby,
you ready?
Colts. Colts.
The New York Jets.
Oh.
Okay. All right.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
That's
there
not
you
bad.
go.
I'm into that.
All right.
Stephen
All right.
Ridley. Chris Ivory.
But I've never gotten to cover the
Watch
Jets
Eric
when
Beckham.
they had sexy
Jason
Rexy.
Morrow. Geno
Jason
Smith.
Morrow, I'm into.
Yeah, I know you are.
Geno
All right, give me
Smith.
the Colts. Give me the Colts.
Courtney's back.
All right, Courtney.
You get the Colts, this
on
is
the
great.
clock. The Philadelphia Eagles.
All right. All right.
All right, I'll take it.
Keep an eye on Zach Ertz in training camp.
I
Then he
can't.
can be a sleeper tight end. You can't?
I think Chip Kelly hates people.
I
I think he
does.
might hate him.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, I'm
He's
just
Yeah.
putting that out there. I think I think he's a
sorry.
he's a
He's a grudge holder for sure.
yes, grudge
Yeah.
holder.
Yeah.
All right. It's
We'll
Colts
see.
time, baby. It's
You
Colts
Brandon?
time.
His name.
All right. The Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
baby. All right.
That's Brandon, not
Eddie
you,
Lacy.
Ashley.
Wait,
Top
that was
five.
That was
pick.
Brandon.
I think he has to be.
I agree. I'm an Eddie Lacy supporter.
Was that Brandon?
Athletic supporter. No. No. I should have
No,
left
yes.
everyone. I should have tapped out.
No.
We are Eddie Lacy. No,
Oh.
Ashley thought that was her team.
I know. I got all excited. But that was Brandon's
Sorry,
pick. Huh?
Ashley.
Oh.
Yeah.
But you do have the Indianapolis Colts.
All right. All right.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah. All right. I'm back on board.
Are the
That's
Raiders
fine.
available? Because I want the Raiders.
Courtney. The Denver Broncos.
Oh, man.
That's our home team.
Yeah.
That's a lot of writing.
Lot of
Right.
work.
That's a
I
lot
like
of work.
C.J. Anderson as a stud, RB1. Gary Kubiak system.
Yeah.
Zone running scheme. Peyton Manning's old arms.
That's all the two left.
I'm a C.J. Anderson supporter.
Good. I
Brandon?
like that.
Uh-oh.
Johnny Football in the Cleveland
Oh my God.
Browns.
I definitely got the worst team. I'm not making a track, but there is definitely a worse team thing going on here.
You got Johnny Manziel and Jameis Winston.
And
Sure do.
Kaepernick.
And Cap.
And Kaepernick.
I got all the
man.
people that respect women.
Yes.
Because it's very appropriate.
Kaepernick supports.
there you go.
I'm sure Kaepernick.
Oh, Kaepernick, you're right. You're right. Well, and probably Manziel, respects them. You know, it's probably like Derek Jeter giving them gift baskets afterwards.
No.
Maybe.
Exactly.
As long as you're like, giving out the gift basket.
Right. He'll call Uber and not a cab. He's
No,
nice.
but who wouldn't like a nice gift basket from Bed Bath & Beyond?
Oh, yeah.
So true. So true.
I got a whole stock of them.
Are we missing somebody?
That's Ashley.
What is it?
Ashley. St. Louis Rams. Kenny
Come
Britton
on
in life.
now. Come on.
Ah. That's a good one, though. That's easy.
Trey
It
Mason.
is easy. It is
Now,
easy.
for the real fun, we're going to draw our positions that we do our rankings for.
All right.
Okay,
For
quarterback, tight end right here. Come on,
Corey's up
Corey. You've been
first.
doing me right all night.
All right,
Give her wide
Corey.
receiver.
All night.
You know what to do.
Give her running backs.
You have the defenses and the wide receivers.
Same as last. I'll take it. I'm okay
All
with
right.
it.
right.
I love my
Put a
defenses.
ranking for Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah.
ODB number 2.
No. All right. The quarterbacks and the tight ends.
Again, like last
Again,
year.
all of ours
Like
stayed
last year.
And,
Stayed the same.
and then Ashley's going to be running backs and kicker.
Rodgers or
Exactly.
Luck as the number 1 quarterback.
For me, it's Rodgers based on experience and the fact that he has the same wide receivers and running backs, and I feel like that's just a hint. But I'm an Andrew Luck supporter, but I feel like it's a hair for
Okay.
me. But I think they're the same tier, and then I think everyone else is below that. I don't want anyone else in that tier.
Okay.
There we go.
Ashley, you got the running backs. What do you
Le'Veon
think
Bell,
about that?
baby. I'm loving Le'Veon. I'm intrigued. I get to continue my Bishop Sankey hate then.
Oh, there you go. Bishop
yeah.
Sankey.
It keeps it going, Ashley.
Yep.
Thanks for keeping that love
How
relationship.
many 3-down running backs in the NFL right now?
How many what?
3-down running backs. Le'Veon Bell, Jamal Charles, LaShawn
Charles.
McCoy,
Arian Foster.
AP.
Arian Foster.
Arian
Adrian
Foster.
Peterson. What's that, 5'6"?
Eddie Lacy.
Eddie Lacy, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a few-
Kind of Alfred Morris. It's not a committee by
Oh,
any
wow,
means.
Alfred Morris. Yeah, it's not a committee. It's
Not committee, but he's featured back.
yeah,
Joik
no,
Bell.
it's
Joik Bell.
RG3.
If nothing happens this offseason, if nothing crazy gets going, I like Joik Bell. I'm not upset with him.
I think he's going to share the ball with Theo Reddick, though.
Yeah, maybe a little.
I don't think it'll be a
Oh,
50-50
Reddick.
split, though.
And hey, Jeremy Hill, you guys, he does share the ball, but they run that ball nonstop. I think
I'm a-
Jeremy Hill is a
I
great
like Jeremy
pick.
Hill a lot.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
he's a first rounder.
I think there's a possibility
so.
one of those Browns guys becomes a 3-down back.
Oh, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you pull the Browns?
Yeah, you pulled the Browns for me, unfortunately.
Okay.
Thank you, Corey. I'm
Gift
sending you a gift basket, just so you know.
Yeah, I'm not
Very
getting
excited.
Corey one. I'll tell you that after tonight. He gets
Courtney's
his
getting
own
him a
gift
Bed
basket.
Bath and Beyond basket.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, Corey. Corey, let us know one more time where we can find you.
You find me on Twitter at the Fantasy Exec, EXEC, and of course SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio in a couple hours. So there you go, right there. Monday through Friday, 6 to 11 a.m. Eastern, Sirius 210 XM87, the Fantasy Funhouse, the best part of the show.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Corey, for being part of our draft edition.
It was
It's
cool. It was a
awesome.
lot of fun.
Yeah.
Maybe we
We
can do
got-
this annually.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm down with that. That's a good. And maybe next time
We
we'll
didn't
actually
scare-
draft them instead of picking them. We'll see. I don't know. It's up for debate still. Well, guys, you can find us, the ladies of Her Fantasy Football, at herfantasyfootball.com or on Blog Talk Radio / Her Fantasy Football and on iTunes as always. Make sure to chat us up on Twitter at Her Fantasy FB and on Facebook / Her Fantasy Football. It's been a pleasure. Until next time, no more faking it.